What's your most embarrassing sex story? Preparing for anal with an ex-BF. I had done it many times successfully in the past and felt pretty confident about it. He lifted up my legs and asked, "Ready?" I said, "Ready as I'll ever be," and then let out the biggest, longest fart in world history. The farting wouldn't have been so bad if it weren't for my verbal response just moments before my sphincter decided to start singing. From then on, anytime I said ready in casual conversations like getting in the car, he would always say, "Ready as I'll ever be." This is pure gold. So relatable, and I don't blame your sphincter for relaxing. It happens. Lost balance taking off skinny jeans. Foot wouldn't come out in time and smashed a mirror with my face. At least something got to smash that night. Nice. 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 My husband and I were going at it doggy style, and things were going very well. I started to have an orgasm, and due to the angle and the pressure, the world's longest fart slipped out. So I start to laugh. So I'm coming, laughing and farting all at the same time. My hubby took it like a champ and laughed with me until I calmed down. I'm coming, laughing and farting all at the same time. You tripled yourself. Classic. Freshman year in the dorms. One of the last days of the semester, a girl on a different floor invites me to come to her room and hang out. I obviously know what she's trying to do, so I ask her if her roommate is gone. She says she left for the semester, so I go down and get to her room, and we get started. We start talking a little, then started kissing. Then she starts sucking me off, and in a matter of minutes, I hear a card hit the scanner and the door opens to her roommate and her roommate's mom. Door swings open, and within seconds they slam it shut. I get dressed and walk out the door, while Fear's still just standing there in shock. As I walk away, I hear roommate's mom start raising her voice saying, "Are you serious? You have got to be kidding me," and stuff like that. Walking back to my dorm on my floor, I'm not wearing boxers and my shorts were slightly wet from her slobber all over my dick. People definitely saw and knew what was up. As for the girl who I was with, her roommate's mom basically kept calling her a slut and didn't let her daughter dorm with her this semester. Like, okay Karen, your daughter has had more sex than me. Sure. Wow, that mom was a bitch. Wasn't even her kid. Flew across the country for this guy. He couldn't get it up. Found out he has a foot fetish. He jerked off while sucking my toes. Then he cried, and I comforted him. And I had 9 more nights with him. Edit. I didn't think my story was that embarrassing, but almost 100 upvotes has me thinking. Damn. Should I be more embarrassed about this? Well, at least one of you got to come. And the other got to have come on her stomach. Wondering what she did up to this point that led her here. Oh honey, we've all been there. 9 days though. Yikes. Glad you're able to laugh about it now. Haha. It wasn't so bad. He was cool to hang out with, and at night I just had him eat me out instead. He was cool with it because he didn't want to embarrass himself either. It worked out. She threw up on my dick twice because she decided to ignore her gag reflex. We're married now. Edit. Twice as in on 2 different occasions. Not in one sitting. We're married now. Naturally. Tried to pick a girl up and lay her down on a bed. Failed miserably. It was dark. We were slightly drunk. Slammed her head onto bedside table and knocked her out. 15 years later, she still sends an occasional selfie wearing a helmet. Noise. That's funny. Was going hard on her when I heard the bug out guy spray my windows. I thought the curtains were closed, so I kept going at it. They weren't. And then you said consider this your tip. Well, the same guy kept coming back, so it must have been a good one. 2 fun stories. Getting a blowjob from my girlfriend. Everything goes well. I finish. Go into the bathroom to clean up and whatnot. My dick is red. Not excited member red. Blood red. It wipes off. There's blood on my dick. I frantically palpate myself trying to find the source. Nothing. Did I just come blood? I think something happened. I yell into the other room. My nose is bleeding, comes the reply. There were about 30 seconds of sheer terror for me there. I was so relieved, and we laughed about it, and I brought her some tissues. Same girl a while later. Getting into sexy times. She's blowing me. Before we get into it, my roommate's son, like 2 years old, walks into my room for some insane reason I don't remember. He had never come in like that before, and I don't remember him ever doing it again. A guy I was dating went down on me and had a nosebleed. There was about 0.3 seconds where he was pissed because he thought I red winged him. But I assured him it was not from me. Been married almost 18 years. What's with half of these stories ending up with been together for 69 years? Do I just have to have embarrassing sex for someone to stick around? Lol. One night my BF and I were at a bar and drinking a lot, and we thought it would be a good idea to go to him Camaro to duck. This was in the late 90s or early 2000s, and I was wearing one of those long skirts with really high slits on both sides. So basically even if you thought the skirt was scrunched up, it really was just the front or back part. So we finish up and go back inside. This was a bar and not a club, so it was fairly lit. I almost immediately run into a group of girls I went to high school with. We were not really friends, so I assumed the conversation was strained and awkward because of the hollow catching up. Shortly after I escaped and went to the bathroom, I basically had smeared cum all over my skirt. It was a combo of mine and his. On the front panel of skirt. Like literally on the bottom. On the top. From being bunched up, it was all over the inside of the back. It was everywhere. I was so embarrassed. My boyfriend at the time had started to develop erectile dysfunction, so after finally managing to get him hard, he deflated before getting it in and cried. All of his roommates heard him sobbing and thought I hurt him. So they burst into the room, invasion of privacy much, and find him crying into my tits while both of us are still naked. All I can say is yikes. What good friends. Kind of wholesome. I want those people as friends. My GF and I used to go out driving some nights back when we were still in high school. We lived in a small town, so it was a reasonable activity to take part in every now and again. She and I drove out of town about 5 miles and went down this back road to a little unknown farm property and parked there, assured no one would see us. We got jiggy with it, and upon reaching just about our curfew, I went to start my car up to drive us back home. But what I didn't realize was that my car did not have automatic lights, and I had not actually turned them off all the way. The battery was drained, and my car was not going to start on its own. I called all the friends I could think of to come help us out, so we could just sneak back into town. But to no avail. I'd have to call my dad. My dad, for the entirety of my life, has been someone I've been slightly afraid of waking up. He naps a lot, and always seems to do so right around the time I need to ask him for something. And he always sounds angry when I do. I can only imagine how he must have felt when I called him at nearly 1 AM, way past curfew at this point, to ask him to come and save us. But he did. I had to give him directions to this spot we had picked specifically because it was hard to get to, and eventually he got there. I had to get out of the car, my girlfriend watching, and work with him to get my car jump-started again. Surprisingly, he didn't even seem all that angry. Just got my car started and went home, my girlfriend and I following close behind. To my surprise, he never asked/grilled me about it, and either never told my mom, or told her never to ask me about it either. Oddly, after that, I even felt like my dad treated me with an oddly heightened amount of respect, which hasn't dwindled since. TL. Dr. GF and I parked a car in the country to take things to the bone zone. But my car battery died, and I had to ask my dad to come save us. My dad was pretty similar, especially with drinking. He never once grilled me or my brothers about asking for a ride if we had been drinking. He never wanted to give us an excuse to drink and drive. Was friends with a German foreign exchange student when I was a freshman in college. Hung out a few times, but I never got the idea that she was into me. Then on the last day, before she would go back to Germany, she called me up in the middle of the night and said she wanted to hang out. Being a bored insomniac, I decided to agree. We walked around and talked for a bit. but she ended up inviting me back to her dorm. We end up making out for a while, and I'm all fine and good. Eventually she flat out tells me that she wants to have sex with me. I pretty much just flat out tell her that I don't want to lose my virginity to someone right before they leave the country and I never see them again. She looks really surprised at first, then just assumes that I'm joking around. When I tell her that I'm serious, she looks legitimately pissed off. Anyway, the bitch decides to literally ducking sit on me. At this point I should mention that she is probably tipping the scales at about 300 pounds or so. Therefore there is no ducking way I'm getting this fat chick off of me on my own. She literally sits there for about an hour, telling me that she will only let me go if I agree to duck her. Eventually I outstubborn her and she finally just rolls off of me. I hadn't really given much thought to how ducked up it was for years. Honestly, I think I retold the story a few times later on in college as a funny story about a chick trying to force me into having sex with her by holding me hostage under her fat ass. So, attempted rape then. Tinder date got off onto my floor of my apartment building, but was ducking wasted and forgot which apartment was mine. So she started yelling my name as loud as she could. I opened my door to see all my neighbors standing in their doorway staring at her. She had a 6-pack of wine coolers in one hand and her heels in another. I told her to get in my apartment quickly and started apologizing to everyone else. Most just rolled their eyes and shut their doors, but the dude across the hall started clapping. Thanks 8F. Did you grab a beer with him afterwards? It was New York City. We all mostly kept to ourselves. All of them, before I was in a long-term, committed relationship. I was so used to my right hand that it was difficult to get off. Very awkward. OMG are you me? I'm not in a relationship, but I find it nearly impossible to finish when I'm with a girl, cause I'm so used to just masturbating/porn. Yeah, so don't go all Lodge Simpson on your dick and K. I'm a janitor, working in a honestly pretty rundown apartment complex, and we often have issues with vagrants or people loitering about the premises. Was just mopping up some crumbs of Pringles from the floor one evening when I heard a banging noise from outside. Naturally, I assumed it was another homeless dude sleeping in our dumpster. Got my broom ready and opened the lid with my most disparaging scowl on my face. Well, turns out, it was just two, presumably, college-age teens going at it, equipped with a GoPro and a laptop. She wore a big gamer headset, and he had his sizable member between her butt cheeks, enjoying what were probably best referred to as an ass job. They mutely stared at me with their young and sinful puppy eyes. I wanted to moralize, or exclaim something rude, but, really, I was just defeated. Closed the lid, hid my erection. Tried not think about it. Wait, what did I just read? Lol. I was just defeated. Closed the lid, hid my erection. Tried not think about it. Best part of the story, haha. Oh, so many. As a kid thought ducking meant anal. It's a long story, but it never completely got resolved. Needless to say, when my first girlfriend told me to duck her hard and I pulled it out of one hole and tried to stick it in another, it was at least somewhat embarrassing. I ate something in my GFS ass I thought she had put there on purpose for me to find. What the duck? Ashish, stop Reddit stalking me, or I'm going to pray to God. Swear this is a coincidence, mate. Both of us have too much free time, that's all. God told me a different story. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.